We're live.
Welcome to the Lost Together podcast. I'm Joe, and still here trying to convince Morgan that Lost is one of the greatest television shows ever directed, written, produced, acted in, and that is a whole lot easier after episodes like the one that we literally just watched. Mm-hmm. So normally we'll watch these episodes and then
a week later.
A week or sometimes a couple of days will pass before we actually record the episode.
Yeah.
We literally finished like 5 minutes ago.
Yep.
So this is fresh, and the episode that we're talking about today is, of course, The Brig, which originally aired on May 2nd, 2007. It is the 19th episode of the third season, and it is a banger.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was a good one.
So we returned from a little tropical paradise of our own yesterday.
Yeah.
And so the Green family had been on vacation for the last week down on the beach in Florida. And as we were driving back, I was like, we're in the middle of not just watching Lost, but we're finishing another show on Netflix. We're just show watchers. But I was like, we have got to watch The Brig and do the reaction because it is a very good episode. And we're just in the heat of this other show that we're watching. Actually, come to think of it,
there's only 2 episodes left.
No, but did we talk about this in the last?
Apple cider vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar.
I think we did.
That's what we're watching. It's violently Australian.
It
this
is.
Show.
And you guys would probably, a lot of y'all are Australian. It's about Belle Gibson and her whole.
The whole pantry. Is that what it's called?
The whole pantry. Yeah.
Whole pantry.
Yeah, it's about her whole scheme.
Yep.
She in real life.
They reassure you many times as you're watching the show that Belle Gibson has not been paid for the recreation of her
at the top of every single episode. They say that.
And it is a fantastic show.
It's so good.
With the excellent Caitlin Dever, who was she was in the most recent season of The Last of Us.
She's Abby.
As Abby, and swiftly becoming one of my favorite actresses. She murders.
She's great.
She is absolutely killing this thing in Apple Cider Vinegar. So just a quick plug for a different show if you guys are into that. Like Apple Cider Vinegar, really good show. Great acting. Mm-hmm. It seems so real. Like everybody's a good actor.
Yeah.
And Caitlin Dever's not even Australian, and the accent is on point. I would actually be interested if any of you guys watch it to get a quick review of her
accent. Yeah.
Is it authentic? Do you buy it as an Australian accent?
Yeah, we've complimented Sawyer's southern accent. He's not southern, but he sounds like he is.
Well, he was born in the South, I think.
Yeah, but he didn't live in the South, did
right.
he?
No.
Right, so then he's not southern.
Mm-mm. And, so that's that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into, just real quick, what did you think about the Brig?
It was great. There were a couple of moments where I was literally like, oh, I was kicking my feet under the blankets, like, oh, God, it's so good.
There's some really good stuff in this episode.
Yeah. And, you love to see it. Although, I'll tell you, I don't trust what all went down.
Yeah, well, you're right not to.
Yeah.
But so that we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's get into the recap.
Okie dokie.
Take it away.
So, it's a Locke episode. Last time we saw John Locke, it's been a long time. It's been like 2 or 3 episodes.
It's been more than that.
Has it been? It's been a long time.
It's been like 8 episodes.
Has it been that long?
It's been a long time.
Yeah. Last time we saw him, he's living with the others, and they open up a door, and his freaking daddy is tied up in there, all bloodied and beat up or whatever. So, we're back to that now. And this episode, I'll be honest with you, I was not paying attention to it was like 8 days ago, 2 days later, 3 days before. Whatever. I don't need that. I don't want that. Just tell me the story, So, Ben had told Locke that there was a magic box on the island, and this was right before Locke blew up the submarine. He said, there's a magic box on the island, and whatever you can think of, what you want the most, will be in the box. And so Ben tells Locke that, his dad was in the box. Or how'd you get him to the island? Locke said, how'd you get him to the island? And Ben said, oh, we didn't, you did. And then Locke was like, okay, well then show me the box. And then Ben goes, the box is a metaphor. I don't really understand what he means by that. There was no, he doesn't, that wasn't clarified in that episode we just watched, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And real quick, before we move on, the last episode that we saw Locke in was the man from Tallahassee.
Yeah.
And that was episode 13. So that was 6 episodes ago.
Okay, yeah. And, Locke walks into the room and he's like bewildered that his dad is there. And Ben is like, be careful. Locke takes that thing off of his piece of shit dad's mouth, and his dad bit the hell out of him.
Yep.
Bit him hard.
Hard.
Like, I bet if that were real life, there would be muscle damage. He bit him really hard.
Yep.
So, they shut him in there, and Locke's like, what the hell? And Ben is like, you know what? You're gonna have to kill your dad. You're gonna have to kill him because the island requires, an act of free will, commitment, which I thought that was interesting because if Ben is telling Locke that he has to do it in order to be in the thing, is it really free will?
In the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he could choose not to do it and not join the others. He's not picking for his life. He's just picking for whether he's hanging out with the others.
Well, I think that is...
He's like, only cool kids murder their daddy. Yeah. All right, so...
Yeah.
If you want to hang out with us at the cool kids table, kill your dad.
Yeah. But they all move out or whatever, and Ben's like... It's so funny. They're in that long hallway, right? The dad's in the hallway, and Ben's in his wheelchair, and he goes, oh, we're leaving. And Locke's like, what? And Ben goes, would you like to come with us, John? Why would you even ask? He wants to come. Just tell him to go get his shit. So then they're in this, huge field, and there's, tents everywhere. There's a little commune. We look up, and it made me laugh, because the dad is, tied and gagged to this, ceremonial concrete pole.
Pillar. Yeah.
Yeah.
The stone.
He looked so stupid up there. It's really
He
dumb.
looks stupid in general, but he looked really stupid.
It literally made me laugh. So, that night, the night that we find out, okay, we're in the camp, Ben pulls Locke up in front of God and everybody and says, time to do it, John. Time to kill him. And let me tell you, his daddy has got some cojones, because he takes that thing out of his mouth again, and his dad is Locke has this ginormous Crocodile Dundee knife right up in his neck, and the dad's like, oh, you sent this spineless somebody that he can't... I conned him out of a kidney and he couldn't kill me. I pushed him out of a window. I mean, just running that mouth. And he's right. Locke gave him a little superficial...
Yeah.
Little wound, but couldn't do it, couldn't kill him. And Ben is like, listen, you have got to do this, you have to do this. And Locke, falls in. Ben takes that friggin' walking stick he's got, bam, knocks him out. I thought he killed him.
Locke's dad.
Locke's dad. I thought he killed him. And I was like, damn, all this, and you killed him just now. So then Ben turns around to the whole group and goes sorry, he's not who we thought he was. And then he, Locke walks away, walks past all the people, and he's totally dejected. And it was a master manipulator's humiliation scene. Ben did well.
Yep.
And he's just at all Locke's soft points, Ben is just poking all of them. Bless his heart. So, the next scene is, well, I don't know if it's the next scene, but in the whole Locke situation, the guy with the eyelashes, what's his name? The Hispanic
Richard
guy.
Alpert.
Richard Alpert.
Yeah.
He meets Locke up on a hill, and he's like, hey, just so you know, we all hate Ben or whatever, and he embarrassed you.
He wanted to embarrass you.
Yeah.
Because he knew you weren't going to kill your dad.
Yeah, he knew you weren't going to kill your dad, and you are super special. He told us, that you were paralyzed, and now you're not, and that only happens for very special people. So, if you can't kill your dad, here's a suggestion. and it is Sawyer's little profile or whatever. Oh, also, Locke walked in on Ben listening to Juliet's little tape of her telling Ben that, like, son is pregnant and conceived on the island, blah, blah. So, and Ben gets up out of his little wheelchair and is walking around with his stick, and he tells John, a couple days ago, I couldn't feel my legs at all, and then you showed up, and now I got pins and needles. So he's, like, further trying to tell John, like, you're special, and you are making things happen, and you're different, and blah, blah, blah. It's just, like, manna to John's soul.
Yep.
And it makes me very sad. So, now we're going to go to Sawyer. And he and Kate have been canoodling, and she gets up and leaves the tent. He tries to go back to sleep. He gets up. He says he has to pee. He gets up, and Hurley and Jen were being all super suspicious about a tent. And Sawyer's like, what are y'all doing? And they're like, Hurley said, nothing, what the hell are you doing? Really funny. I totally forgot about the parachute lady.
Yep.
I totally forgot about her. So I was like, what are they doing? But anyway, Sawyer goes into the jungle. Locke shows up. And this is the first time Sawyer's seen Locke in who knows how long. And Locke's like, I need you to kill somebody, because I know that you have before. And Sawyer's like, I'm not killing nobody. And I don't know where you heard that, because I am not, I didn't kill anybody. So, and Locke goes, all right, well, I mean, he says it's Ben. He says, I kidnapped Ben, and he's in a tent tied up, and you're going to come with me and you're going to kill him. And then Sawyer's like, yeah, suck it. And Locke says, well, when you hear what he has to say, you're going to want to kill him. So then Sawyer's like, I'm literally not going to do that. And Locke goes, okay, well, I guess I'm going to leave. Don't tell anybody I was here. As if Sawyer is going to just let him go. Of course he's going to follow him.
Yeah.
So he does. They traipse through the woods, and Locke reveals that he knows that Sawyer's name is James, that his mom got killed by his dad, and his dad killed himself, and all this stuff, and Sawyer killed the guy in Sydney, and Locke knows about it, and blah, blah, blah. So Sawyer is just like, his little mask is just falling off all the way through, and he's becoming that vulnerable man that we all know he is on the inside. So, he ends up trying to tell Locke, he's like, listen, I didn't mean to kill that guy. You know, I thought he was somebody else. So then Locke goes, who did you mean to kill? And right then, I was like, I didn't think right then, like, Locke has got the guy.
Yeah.
I thought he really did have Ben. But I was like, okay, so Ben has, like, told Locke that if he can get Sawyer over there, like, that guy showed up from the magic box. I don't know. I still wasn't real sure what was going on. So they go to Black Rock, the pirate ship. It's not a pirate ship. It's a slave ship, and there's a bunch of dead slaves in there. And Sawyer hears some screaming and kerfuffle in there, and he goes, damn, you really do have him. So then they walk into the room, and Locke shuts that door behind him, and his damn daddy's in there. And then I was like, wait a minute. He's a con man. Sawyer's mom was sleeping with a con man. Oh my God. And sure enough, and I will tell you what, I was so happy that this dude died the way that he died. Because, again, just running that mouth. And Sawyer's like, the dad says, like, oh, I'm a con man. Sawyer says, you're a con man. You ever been to Jasper, Alabama? And dude's like, yeah. And he said, what's your name? And the guy says, oh, con man has many names. I'm Anthony Cooper.
Anthony Seward, Anthony Cooper,
Tom Sawyer. And I was like, there it is. And Sawyer goes,
How about that?
How about that? My name's Sawyer, too.
Sawyer's my name, too.
And he's got his hair over his face, and you can see his hair starting to shake. And I was like, oh shit, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. And the dad just fucking running that mouth. Yeah, I remember your mom, Mary. Yeah, she practically begged me to take her $38,000 and save her from her sorry little life. And it's not my fault your dad overreacted. I ran that con for
half a dozen times.
Yeah, half a dozen times. Whatever. And the dad, he told Locke, he said, "Don't you know where we are?" And then
that's why he's running his mouth, though.
He thinks they're dead.
He thinks he's dead. So he's like, I'm already dead.
Yeah, he tells Sawyer, they found, that's my dead son out there. So Locke is my son. I pushed him out of a window, stole his kidney, and he died in a plane crash. In your plane crash. Sawyer's like, I ain't dead, I'm right here. And then the dad goes, it's a little hot for heaven, isn't it? And I have not considered the fact that it might be hell. I've considered that it's purgatory, but not hell. So then, just fucking running that mouth. And Sawyer pulls out his letter, and he tries to make him read the letter, and he gets through the first 2 lines. Dear Mr. Sawyer, you took all.
Yeah, text my mom.
Yeah. You took all my mom's money. My dad killed him and killed herself. And he's reading it, and he goes, blah, blah, blah. I'd have killed that motherfucker right then. Right then.
Well, they definitely, no, I'll save it. Sorry, let's get into it.
And Sawyer is like, finish it! And then for whatever reason, while all this shit is going down, the most interesting shit in the whole entire world, we have to watch Locke and Rousseau have a super weird little conversation. Hopefully that comes back up. She's there to get a bunch of dynamite. So we know that now. But anyway, he's like chained up in the slave stuff. So Sawyer gets up behind him and wraps that chain around his neck a couple times and says, "You want to see hell? You want to see hell?" And
you want to go to hell.
Yeah. And then he chokes him and kills him. And I said, bye.
I'm also pretty sure, there's a sound effect. I am pretty sure that he broke his neck too.
Oh yeah, you can hear like.
I don't think he just suffocated him. I think he broke his neck too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean he was standing full force pulling him.
He didn't choke him long enough for it to be a suffocation.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that I think I want to say that One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest did it properly, but there's it's a common trope, right? Because obviously you don't want to watch somebody actually suffocate somebody for as long as it would take to actually suffocate. It's minutes. So you're not just going to watch somebody for 2 minutes on screen or whatever, which probably how long
you're thinking of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, because
that was a pretty realistic one.
Yeah, and so it takes almost no time, and you hear
Yeah, yeah.
Because that chain was heavy and Sawyer's strong, so and very angry in this moment. So
very, very, very angry. So anyway, as soon as that happens, Locke opens the door and he goes, "Thank you, you bitch." God,
I'm too much of a Nancy to do it, so thank you for taking care of my business for me and doing my big boy work.
You bitch. So Sawyer goes out and throws up, and Locke comes out and he's like, "Thanks, I really needed that done. By the way, Juliet's a mole, and they're planning on raiding the beach in 3 days, and they're gonna take anybody that's pregnant. So just so you know." And Sawyer's like, "Why are you telling me this? You tell everybody." And then Locke's like, "Oh, I'm not going back. I'm on my own journey now.
Live, laugh, love."
Yeah. And so then Sawyer asks him, "Is it true?" And Locke goes, "What?" And Sawyer said, "Did he really push you out of a window? Were you crippled?" And then Locke, instead of going, "Yeah, that's true. Thank you. You killed a very bad man," he says, "Not anymore," and takes off. And carries his dead dad's body who knows how far to go find Ben and them. Because Ben tells him, if you don't bring your dead father's body back over your shoulder, don't even bother about it. But we're leaving and we're going to leave you a trail that you can track. So,
yeah.
So that's that. So then on the beach, Desmond, corners Charlie and Hurley because those two are like, we got to tell Jack. Like, she's really jacked up. If we want off silent, she's got to live. And then Desmond is like, Jack was with the others for 10 days. He's got this blonde bitch over here. Like, do you really trust him? Do you really trust him? Nobody says anything. So he's like, right, we got to keep her alive if we want to get off this island. So they go find Saeed, and he comes back and he starts interrogating her. And he's like, what's your name? Who are you? She reiterates that all of Oceanic Flight 815 was found in a 4-mile deep trench, and all the bodies were in it, and she was sent by Penny, so she's confirmed that Penny has been looking for Desmond this whole time. Penny had coordinates, and they thought that they were just over the middle of the ocean, and then all of a sudden the clouds cleared, and then her whole helicopter started messing up, and she bailed, and that's how she ended up on the island. So Saeed is like, oh, apparently the boat that she was on is 80 nautical miles off the island. So relatively close, I guess. And Saeed's like, oh, do you have a way to communicate with this boat? And she pulls out this ginormous thing, and she's like, remind me not to rescue you, bitch. Very funny. So Saeed is trying to fix it with wadded up aluminum foil, it looks like. He's shoving it in the back of the thing, trying to get it to work. And let's see.
Quick.
He's very happy that Jack does not know about this lady.
Quick note. Just looked it up. 80 nautical miles is 92 land miles or statute miles. So it's a long way.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're talking about the expanse of the ocean,
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kate, of course, walks up when Saeed is shoving the aluminum foil in this radio. And, he's like, I've never seen something so sophisticated. And it's got this crazy looking touch screen on it. And I guess in 2000, whatever, that was a big deal. Because that was when, iPod Nanos were out.
Yeah.
And the screen that was that big was, revolutionary.
But...
Yeah. So, yeah, it had this huge touch screen. And he's like, boop, 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 scrolling through it. Wow, it's crazy. It's so good. So Kate walks up, of course, when all that is going on. And so she's like, is that a radio? Where'd you find a radio? Hurley goes, in the luggage. She goes, okay, so you just found a radio in the luggage. So, of course, they have to tell her. This bitch goes straight to Jack. Straight to Jack. Even though they all have agreed they're not telling Jack. Straight to Jack, and, of course, him and Juliet are all snuggled up on the beach or whatever. Speaking of Juliet, Locke gave Sawyer the recorder, but he didn't hit play on it, so I don't know what's on it. For all I know, they've erased it or re-recorded over it. Maybe it's been going fuck you or something, I don't know. But anyway, there's this fun little exchange of Kate's like, Jack, I need to talk to you in private. And Jack pulls that whole, whatever you need to say to me, you can say in front of her. It's that's how exes speak to each other. And she's like, okay, Jack, did you know that there's a lady who parachuted out of a helicopter and she's in a tent bleeding out and nobody told you because they don't trust you anymore because of her? And Juliet doesn't say a fucking word. She's tight-lipped, and Jack doesn't believe her immediately, and he's like, what? Where is she? What? And this was so good. He gets up, and Juliet grabs him and says, we should tell her. Jack goes, no. And Juliet again says, we should tell her. And then Jack gets right in Juliet's face and goes, not yet. Kate is gonna kill everybody.
Did you enjoy Anthony Seward getting choked out more, or Jack poning Kate in that and just saying, nope, I know something you don't know.
I'm not gonna tell you, and you can't make me. Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. Yeah. Both of those things were wins for my soul.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was it. That's the whole episode. It was pretty good. There's a lot of shit going on.
It was a really good episode.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll want to hit this real quick and then address a couple of things that happen in the episode. And we have a lot of messages in bottle.
Okay.
So no pieces of art read, no books read, no movie posters, no music that is like, other than just background dramatic music. However, I think we haven't talked about it yet, but now is as good a time as any to talk about Sawyer's namesake, Tom Sawyer. He
says Huck Finn was taken.
Exactly. So he mentions Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn, so that's enough to talk about The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. So Mark Twain is an American humorist. Samuel Clemens, his actual name. But so Tom Sawyer. So I read Tom Sawyer forever ago. I mean, I think I was in high school when I read through Tom Sawyer. Have you ever actually read it?
I have never read Tom Sawyer.
So, Tom Sawyer is about...
Super racist, right?
Is
that Uncle Tom is from Tom Sawyer?
No.
Okay.
But it's yes, of course it is. It's like it's in the way that writing was at that time, reflective of the time that it was written in.
Yeah.
But it's... So Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn are the two main characters, and that's where you get that scene where Tom Sawyer has like tricked somebody into believing that painting a fence he has conned them into believing that painting a fence is a fun thing so that he can have this fence painted and he can go fishing or whatever. So Huck Finn is his friend who is essentially like a wild boy or whatever, who is this horrible rebellious little monster or whatever who just is constantly breaking every possible, like anything that's a rule. He's like a male Kate, right? Like he's just anything that's a rule. Huck Finn is breaking it for sure. All right. Tom Sawyer is like mischievous and he likes breaking rules, but he also is kind of looking for structure and stuff. So he is literally in two worlds. So it's like the rebellious child, right? And also trying to grow up. So Tom Sawyer is about maturity and growing and getting over things. So
I mean, Ben is like, Locke, if you don't kill your dad, you're going to be the same sad, pathetic. And again, this is in front of everybody. Yes. He's like, you're going to be the same sad, pathetic, crippled man that,
Well, there's one of the big things that the book Adventures of Tom Sawyer addresses is the difference, and I think you'll particularly find this interesting because we talk about it sometimes in like talking about other shows, but it tries to make a distinction between obedience, and a personal moral code. And so like doing something good because somebody tells you to do it, according to Mark Twain, is not you being good. That's you being obedient. And Mark Twain essentially espouses the belief through the literature that obedience is never good. It's just obedience. Like, it's not bad either. It's just obedience. Like, when you do something because somebody else forced you to do it, then it's not a good or a bad decision.
But you can do something because you're told to do it, and you're not being forced. You're just following the rules,
Well, exactly. But
forced is, I think, a strong word to use there.
Coerced, conned.
Told.
Either way, obedience, which is what Mark Twain is kind of making fun of strict social structures in The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. So you've got he goes to church and the pastor at the church is super strict and mad at kids or whatever for misbehaving in church and sit still or whatever. What's going on here? That kind of thing. And he's in school and the teachers are those teachers that can slap you with a ruler or whatever. And they're like, shut up and sit still and listen and just do what I tell you to do. Right. And so there is he shows that Tom is not a good kid until he learns to have a personal moral compass and make decisions that are personally good because he has decided what good is and he follows that compass. So that is goodness, according to Mark Twain, and obedience is not. Now, I say that and make that distinction here because there is, like, right from the beginning, you've got Ben saying to Locke, you have to kill your dad, right, in order to...
If you want to move past the person that you are and become one of us and let go of everything, you gotta kill your dad.
So, I literally don't remember if we talked about it in this recording or if we talked about it when we were watching the show, but he says that you have to demonstrate free will and commitment.
Yeah, I said that because I was like, how can it be free will if Ben is like, hey, here's what you have to do in order to do this thing? Like,
so, but it's free will because
his life's not in danger to do it.
He could choose not to do it.
Right, so that's the whole obedience thing. Like, is obedience free will or not?
Well,
no.
Obedience is free will, but obedience is not good. Like,
per Mark Twain.
Make a case for obedience being good just for the sake of obedience.
Just for the sake of obedience?
Like, without having a moral compass. Like, you're told to do something by an authority figure, you do it. Yeah. Does that mean that thing that you did was good?
Yes. Because
even if an authority figure tells you to do a bad thing?
No.
But it's still obedience.
Yeah.
So is
obedience is not the thing that's good or bad.
Right.
Yeah. The outcome is, because like if I look at Coraline and tell her, do not go pick up that knife and cut yourself, and she obeys me, that is a good thing. She's done a good thing by obeying me because I know better than her and I'm smarter than her, and I know that a knife will jack her up.
Yeah. So Locke has been given this task, like, you have to kill your father, right? Now, I think Locke wants to.
Oh, yeah. He does.
Because why wouldn't you? Right.
But also he is soft on the inside.
Well, he has a personal moral compass, which is he doesn't kill people, so he's not...
He's like Batman.
He's like Batman. He's like a bald Batman. So
I thought it was a pretty clever workaround that he came up with, even though he didn't come up with that either.
But
Eyelashes came up with that.
But here's the thing, right? Like, it's still Sawyer's choice whether or not he does it. So that's what I'm getting to, right? Like, he puts Sawyer in that room.
Yeah.
He sets up the situation.
Yeah.
He says, I need you to kill him. But he doesn't say, like, kill him or else. So.
Yeah, but he also doesn't say, like, he says it's Ben. And then he, so there's that.
Because he knows that's going to happen. He knows what's going to happen. So he knows that.
Right, but it was not like he was completely upfront with him about it. But again, like, that whole situation was not total free will because they fucking handed it to John on a silver platter.
It's still free will because he could not do it. And there's no...
Put yourself in Sawyer's shoes in
I'm
that
not
room.
saying I'm not saying that he wouldn't want to do it. Like, free will is making decisions regardless of how you feel about it. So it's like, you can make that choice. Like, it's a free choice. You get to make this decision and you decide whether or not you're going to do this thing. Somebody else is not deciding for you. So it's not obedience. It's like, it's a choice. And so he could have... Nothing would have happened to Sawyer if we walked away from it.
Yes, it would have.
Nothing would have happened to Sawyer.
He would have been even more full of rage.
But that's not something happening to him. That's him happening to him. Your feelings are you happening to you. That's not stuff happening to you. That's you happening to you.
Okay, so then what's the difference between if Sawyer literally... Maybe he had some personal growth before he was put in that room and said, you know what? I don't think I need to kill Mr. Sawyer. I think I'm good. And then he gets in there, and then he just fucking completely loses his mind, and it's a crime of passion.
Still free will.
Is it? If you lose control...
Well, we need to define free will, apparently, because you're taking it as, like, it seems like what your definition of free will is like it's an easy choice to make. But free will just means you have a choice.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
that's what free will means.
Yeah. No, I get the
and
concept.
And from a theological and philosophical standpoint, it means that your choice is not predetermined. So like, nobody knows how you're going to make that choice.
Yeah, except John Locke knew good and fucking well. He put Sawyer in that room.
He knew that he would probably do it.
Yeah.
But like,
I think he had a pretty good.
That's different. What I'm definitionally, it's free will.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
Like, yeah, it's extremely likely that he was going to do that. Very, very likely. But it's still free will.
Yeah.
So was what Sawyer did good?
No, because he's not going to feel better. That's the thing. He's not going to feel better.
Well, so what did Locke say to him about?
Oh, he ruined your life and he ruined mine too. And he had it coming. And he did. He 100% did. But Sawyer's not going to feel better. That's not going to bring his mom or his dad back. It's not going to undo... How old is he? 30-ish? It's not going to undo 30-ish years of trauma. You know. It's not going to fix anything.
Well, that doesn't mean that it's not good. Just because it's not going to fix anything.
That man was a piece of shit, and the world is better without him in it. There are people that are like that.
We'll throw back to early episodes of the Lost Together podcast where we talked about utilitarianism and deontology.
Yeah.
So, from a utilitarian standpoint...
It's a good thing he's gone. Sawyer did a good thing.
It's not only a good thing that he's gone, but it's, from a utilitarian standpoint, it's a good thing that he killed him. Because it's about... utilitarianism is about like base happiness, right? The greatest good for the greatest number of people. And so like it's bad for Anthony Seward that he got killed, right? But it's really good for John Locke, who needs him dead so that he can do this thing. Doesn't want to kill him. So John Locke's probably pretty happy that he got this thing without having to...
Talk about a con.
Yes.
Yeah, he swindled Sawyer into that situation. Because Sawyer was, the whole time he was like, I ain't killing nobody. I'm not going to kill nobody. And then immediately he was like,
So how do you know that, like, maybe Sawyer needed to do this for growth? Like, maybe he needed it demonstrated to him that vengeance and wrath and stuff will not solve your problems.
Well, that's a very terrible, hard way to learn that lesson. I think maybe he could have found a different way to learn it.
Of course he could have.
Damn.
Of course. From a deontological standpoint, of course it's a bad thing he murdered somebody. Right, but like,
I just don't feel bad that guy died. I really don't.
So anyway.
What's his real name even? Do we know?
I think they kind of lead you to believe that Anthony Cooper is his real name.
Okay.
So, the moral of the Adventures of Tom Sawyer is essentially that he has to grow up and get a moral compass. Like, everything can't be about rebellion. Everything can't be the wild or whatever.
I feel like Sawyer was already heading that way.
He was already heading that way, but like in the book, Tom Sawyer goes through a couple of different trials which help him to grow personally and to get a moral compass. And so Sawyer has gone through these trials. So he's gone through falling in love with somebody who's like probably not in love with him, and I think he probably knows it. He's had the trials of leadership, like being the kind of de facto leader while Jack and them were gone, and now this. And so, Sawyer's getting good character development. Yeah. So we've established that we are, whether he deserved it or not, yay, Anthony Cooper's dead. Mm-hmm. Right. So we're happy that he's dead. Second only to Walt's mom, who I'm still super happy died in this series. She was awful.
Oh yeah.
Still my least favorite character in the show. Yay. So then. No, she's awful. I don't feel bad about it at all. This is one of the worst morally bankrupt characters ever. So
Michael was not trying to be a present provider of father.
Yes, he was. She fell in love with her boss, and just got a super well-paying.
I thought he was like not trying to work.
No, he got injured.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah,
he was
no,
an artist. He was an artist.
But he was working construction.
That's right. You're right. You're right.
That's how he knew all that stuff.
You're right.
Yeah,
Never mind.
Yeah, she's the devil, unequivocally. So, like, anyway. Okay, lost it.
Sorry.
I got super irritated. Anyway, so, yeah, the Brig. Great episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get... What do you think Jack and Juliet are talking about?
I have no idea. No idea. It would be fucking hilarious if Juliet's pregnant, but if she was pregnant, she'd be tripping.
Yeah.
So, I know it's not that. I don't know, truly.
I love... so you know that we mentioned Jack face on here before, how he has like...
Oh,
right?
God.
But,
Anthony Cooper's face. Ugh.
yeah. But a face I like is Juliet's face, which is
That
the
little
like...
half
that,
smile.
like, right.
Her eyes as wide as she can get them.
Love it. Also, I think I've mentioned this before, but I can't stop seeing it now, but the actress that plays Juliet was in Santa Claus 2, The Mrs. Claus. And so she is Tim Allen's Santa Claus's Mrs. Claus. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. The Anthony Cooper face I'm talking about, by the way, is right before, when he is talking to Locke and he's like, "Don't you know where we are?" And then when he's running that fucking mouth to Sawyer, it's like a Jack Nicholson kind of, like, his lips are kind of like that, but his outside is real wide, like that. "Don't you know where we are?"
Oh, a little nitpick from this episode. So when they're first walking up to the Black Rock, which is the ship, you can kind of see that they're in a field, like it's pretty open, and
Yeah, it's in a clearing.
they would have seen that ship from forever before the camera sees them, but they still have Sawyer pretend to be seeing it for the first
Yeah,
time.
he's like, "Whoa."
I was so annoyed when I saw that the first time I watched it and this time. Sawyer would have seen that ship from forever away, and he's just now reacting to it. It took... I don't like...
You'd have seen that ship, or the shape of it, even if you didn't know it was a ship, and be like, "What the hell is that out there?"
She'll tell you, I hate anything that takes me out of it. Like, if there's like that, that happens, and I'm like, oh my God, that's not realistic at all. Like, that's...
But then he would have seen that ship in the middle of the jungle from way far away.
It was in a field. It was in a clearing. There's not even a tree in front of it. There's nothing, right? There's just a whole ass ship right there.
Forgot to mention, in the whole, 8 days ago, 3 days later, 2 days before, Locke had his hand bit, and he'd had it wrapped up, and he was standing looking over the campsite. This was after he told, he couldn't kill his dad or whatever. Unwrapped his hand, completely better, 100% fixed. He's like Wolverine.
Yeah, a little continuity situation. Yeah. No, not continuity, because the island has healing properties.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But why is everybody not healing at that clip? One parachute lady still has a gaping hole in her side.
Well, some people, but, first of all, she's just to the island. She seems like she's in a lot better condition.
That's true. She was
before.
Literally on death's door 2 days ago or whatever.
Yeah, and sometimes the injuries are so grave that people don't get healed, like Boone.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah. So...
You were wanting to talk about the way, the payoff.
Oh, I know, yeah. So, they really, I love this episode, it's great, but they botched part of this in the writing. When you realize that Anthony Cooper is Tom Sawyer, it shouldn't be by Richard Alpert handing Locke a file, which he's read already, and says...
Even I called it.
Oh, why would Sawyer kill my dad? Right? And then he says, keep reading. That's when you know it's Tom Sawyer, and that should not be how it was revealed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Even I was like, I didn't catch it 100% until Sawyer was in the room with Anthony, and I was like, he's the guy. He's the guy.
It's annoying. It's just a little thing for me. I just think...
Tell him how you would have done it.
Well, first of all, that scene wouldn't even be there.
The Richard Alpert thing?
Yeah, that
then
thing
how
where...
would you know
that thing where he hands him the file and says, keep reading, at least save that and intercut it or something. Like, hand him the file and say, like, why would Sawyer want to kill my dad? Best, if you wanted to pretty much keep it how it was, don't have Richard Alpert say, keep reading, right? So it's a tip. It's like there's a connection between Sawyer and this guy.
Yeah.
The best line in this episode is, how about that? Sawyer's my name too, right? That's when you should know. That moment is when you should know. There could have been hints leading up to it, but that should be the moment. If that was the moment, it would be one of the best reveals in the whole show.
Yeah.
But instead, you know before. And so it doesn't hit
I'm not
quite
good
the
at,
same.
like, uncovering mysteries, like, as they're happening. So even for me to go, like, oh, is it... That's bad writing. That's exposition, baby. That's not good.
When Saeed was fixing the phone, I actually, in order to try to preserve the surprise for her, I, like, overreacted to something that when it cuts to Saeed and he's fixing the phone. And I do think this is funny, but, like, he is literally looks like he's putting a battery in that phone and then
it looked like aluminum foil.
Clips
was, like,
it back up.
shoving down in there.
And I said, Saeed can fix anything. I said, you guys have a MacBook or whatever? And I'm just, like, overreacting, trying to distract her for a second to try to preserve the good surprise so she can enjoy it. But instead, Richard Alpert has to hand him a red file and say, keep reading or whatever. So it's super annoying.
Yeah, and I mean, earlier in the episode, Locke is sitting outside. What we learn later is the Brig, obviously, or the Black Rock. And he goes like, keep screaming, nobody's going to hear you. And then he throws Sawyer's file into a fire. Which, why? Why did he do that? Why didn't he give it to Sawyer?
Who knows?
Dumb.
Speaking of, we just passed according to the timeline, the Russo distress signal just turned 37 years old this week.
Wow. Happy birthday, Russo distress signal.
38. So, that's great and not at all depressing. So, let's get to, because there's a lot, I want to get to the messages in a bottle. So, from last time on our episode on DOC, Matt says, has got a great screen grab of you doing your hair at the beginning of the episode.
I wasn't ready for you to hit record, and you did anyway.
Today, we're all Morgan getting caught doing our hair.
Some days it be like that.
Okay, so Greg says, the look on Morgan's face when she realized she was caught is identical to when my colleague, Natasha Exelby, went viral for the same thing. Do you recognize that face?
Is that I'm so pale lady?
No, it's just an Australian news anchor who is caught, like, they've started and it's live because it's the news, and she got fired for it.
Ew.
I know, you guys are a lot more professional in Australia than we are, because our news anchors jack stuff up all the time. You can scarcely watch the news without somebody just absolutely stumbling over themselves, doing something insane. Like
they get tickled and start laughing, like.
Yeah. And Matt adds, that didn't just go viral, it went world viral. And that's true, because
Yeah. You guys are on a different continent than me.
Okay, I love this, and I want to give special props to Daniel. So, Joe, do you get the feeling that Juliet is kind of sort of a much better written Kate, i.e. they learned from their missteps and didn't repeat them when writing her? Yes. Mm-hmm. All right. She's got much better motivation for the stuff that she does.
She's still plenty secretive.
She's plenty secretive.
Mysterious.
She's a more compelling character, and she's capable of being more than one dimension. Mm-hmm. Like, you know exactly what Kate's going to do as soon as something happens to her. Like, the second something happens, you know exactly. You knew she was going to go tell Jack.
Do you know how not surprised I was to see her dusty ass walking up to Jack? Guess what? Guess what I learned?
Yeah.
Did you know your friends don't like you? Like, yeah, fucking, of course she did that. Of course she did that.
Daniel, you're so right. Like, they definitely learned from that. And I didn't think about that until I read what you said. And definitely. Because I think maybe that's why I like Juliet so much, is she's an improvement from other... Because Lost had a writing female characters problem, I think, in the early part of the series.
Are they getting feedback and stuff, like, as the show's going on?
Oh, yeah. Critics and stuff. Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely. And so, definitely. And Juliet is balanced. So you get, there's moments where she's sweet, like with her sister, and really loving, and then you get manipulative, and then you get violent, and you get. Remember when she backs off Sawyer and Saeed, and then after she's got her back to them, you see her go like, you know, and it's so well done. Like I love Juliet as a character because she is way more balanced.
I don't know how to feel about her. I don't know how to feel about her. I don't know if I trust her.
Well, and the actress who plays Juliet is doing a great job as Juliet. Like, it's, she was, I think I remember this right. I think she was on Days of Our Lives or something. She's like a soap opera actress.
I don't know.
So, I know that Lost did get a lot of actresses from soaps. Libby, I know, was in a soap. But soap
Poor
operas.
Old Libby.
Are there soap operas anymore? Just like daily, watch my stories.
I don't know. We haven't had cable in so long. I don't even know what's on cable anymore.
Anyway, really good call, Daniel.
Yeah.
Really like Greg's structure here of his comments. So, bullet point 1, Oedipus. Julia is my favorite character along with Jack. The actor really nailed the role, balancing badass with vulnerability and complexity. Oedipus. Great job, read the spiritual Hinduism chat. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oedipus. Notice how the fixing of characters, e.g. Sawyer, coincides with the network setting the end date after the Stranger in a Strange Land disaster.
They were like, listen, we cannot do this forever.
Just put yourself for a moment in Hughes and Lindelof's shoes when they've got to go answer to the network for Strangers in Strange Land. I imagine that they just walked in and they were like, gentlemen,
we know.
Like,
we know.
He said, what the and they go, we get it.
Yep.
All
Don't
right.
even.
Just how long do we have? And they go, 6, you're going to have 6 seasons max, right? But you can't ever do some shit like that again, right? And they go,
okay.
What if we did some shit like a little bit like that and a whole bunch of our fans really, really liked it? And they're like, what do you have in mind? And they said expose.
I was going to say that's your razzle dazzle.
Razzle dazzle.
Nope. I really liked that episode. I still don't understand why you were hater-rating on it so much.
I don't get it. Oedipus. You need to fire Joe's wardrobe people who keep making him wear the same shirt 2 episodes in a row. Proof below. Okay, so...
He only owns 5, so...
So, truly, there's just a quick window into my life. I am a find a thing you like and buy like 5 or 6 of it and just alternate it out. And also that we tend to record on Fridays. It's Saturday today. I work at home a lot on Fridays, and there are some of these shirts that are more comfortable than others, and so I wear them on my work at home days. And so that is the explanation behind why I've got the same blue shirt. I've got this one.
Yeah, it's a
shirt.
blue shirt, but it's not the same blue shirt.
I have a lot of blue.
Blue and gray and black. A lot of it.
Because my eyes are blue, and so it just works. And then, a lot of blues and grays and blacks. I'm corporate. I'm a project manager. Like, we're not meant to stick out. We're meant to be in be in the background, but run shit at the same time. So, thank you. We never saw Ross and Rachel wear the same thing twice. LOL. Oedipus for the last
Oh my
one.
God.
So, you get the joke, right?
I get the joke.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we couldn't figure out how to say it.
No, you couldn't figure out how to say it. I knew how to say it. Daniel. LOL. Yes, the word Oedipus was heard a lot in this episode.
Sorry about it.
And then Greg has created the complex new perfume just in time for Father's Day. Oedipus. Just how you pronounce it.
How long did it take you to come up with that joke? That's what I want to know. Like,
Oedipus.
how the hell did you even come up with that?
Greg is elite at meme making, so.
Who are those people?
What people?
Oh, Locke.
Oh,
okay.
Locke, Jack, and Ben.
Why are they with the perfume?
For Oedipus.
But why though? Because they're pussies? What's the joke? I don't get it.
Possibly.
Oh, something funny. Locke's dad called Ben Bug Eyes. He said, "Shut up, Bug Eyes." I was like, oh.
Well, I love that he's being such a Billy badass because he thinks he's dead. So he's like, well, nothing can happen to me. I'm dead already.
It's like
More
when
him.
you realize that you're dreaming and you're like, oh, I'm about to fuck it up in here. Like,
yeah. Did I do the... I think I did it last time. Did the executioner thing last time? The executioner riddle. It's like a...
I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what
Tell
you
me the
said.
riddle again and I'll
Well, it's
tell
not a
you if I know
riddle.
it.
It's not a riddle as much as it's like a thought experiment. But there's this guy who's sentenced to death.
Oh, and you can't kill me on a Saturday.
Well,
and you can't know when it is.
He says he's sentenced to death, but he's granted a request, and he said, "Okay, I just want my execution to be a surprise." And the king's like, "No problem. You got to be executed by Sunday morning, though." And the guy goes, "Perfect. That means you can't kill me." And the king's like, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, if I get all the way to Saturday night and you haven't killed me by then, I'll know that it's Sunday morning, so it can't be a surprise."
So just kill him right then.
And he goes, "Well, I guess that's true." And he goes, "Well, then by that logic, because I already know it's not Sunday, if I get to Friday night and I haven't been killed, I'll know it's not Saturday. Or I'll know it's Saturday, so it can't be that because it's not a surprise." Then he just kind of logics his way backwards into, "You can't kill me." And the king's like, and then he kills him. So
yeah, I mean, how did he not see that one coming?
Because he's a philosopher, and they're paid for thinking
by the word.
Yeah, make it really complicated instead of really simple.
Yeah.
So, what do you give? What do you give the Brig?
I give it a 9 out of 10.
Where does it stand amongst episodes of Lost that you've? Because Walkabout, is it still probably up there for you? I
loved Walkabout. That was a great episode.
Ben says, "Don't tell me what I can't."
Oh
do
yeah,
to Locke."
yeah, he does. And I was like, "What's that cool?"
How
does he know that he said that?
Why do you think Ben treats Locke the way he does? Because he didn't treat Jack that way.
No, he did not. I mean, he must just know that Locke is a soft somebody on the inside, and Ben is some freak of nature that is able to just like X-ray vision into people and see what all their weaknesses are, and he knows it can talk to John like that, and it will motivate John to do whatever the hell it is that he needs to do, i.e. get his dad killed, like, because that's how everybody talks to John. But Ben sprinkles in that whole like, "We thought you were special," and all that kind of shit. He could tell John, literally, "Open your mouth and I'm gonna shit in it." But if you let me do that, it means you're special, and John will open right up, baby.
I think you are probably forgetting. Do you remember the conversation that Locke and Ben had in Ben's house when Locke was eating that chicken? So Locke lands on the island. He's paralyzed, but he can walk.
Yeah.
Ben is gradually getting paralyzed.
Yes.
So
he gonna like steal his stem cells or something?
No, he's jealous.
Yeah.
He's jealous of John.
Yeah, but now he's walking again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How do you know he wasn't?
Well, I don't. He's a liar.
Right.
So then what's he jealous of?
It's a good question.
Maybe Locke is special.
Well, so don't forget that Richard tells Locke, like, "Hey,
Ben."
No, when we found out that there was a person that came out of the sky that was paralyzed and could walk, we got really excited."
Mm-hmm. Because that only happens to people that are super special.
And Ben is wasting our time.
Mm-hmm.
So if
with fertility.
So if he's telling Locke that,
mm-hmm.
what do you think the odds are that Ben, who pays so much attention to everything, is not aware that people think Locke is special
mm-hmm.
and think he's wasting their time?
I'm sure he's aware.
Right. So he is jealous of Locke, and he's trying to make him look like a fool and an idiot and stuff, so that people will not think he's special.
He's going to look like a real full dumbass when Locke shows up with his dead dad.
The plot thickens.
Or maybe they'll think that Locke is some kind of monster for killing his own father.
Well, possibly. So the next episode is called The Man Behind the Curtain.
That's going to be a Ben episode.
Why?
because it's reminiscent of, it's another Wizard of Oz thing. And Ben's got a lot of Wizard of Oz stuff happening with him and Mr. Henry Gale. And the whole thing with the Wizard of Oz is like, first off, he's not at all what he seems. So
he's a sentimental man.
I am a sentimental man. So he's not at all what he seems, and he's running shit behind the scenes.
Yes, and he is not special.
No.
He's not a wizard.
He's a liar.
He's not magical.
He is an effective liar.
Yeah. Love the Wizard of Oz parallels.
Yeah.
We're a big Wicked family, so now we are, after the dramatic viewing from last November.
I've been loving Wicked for a long time.
She's been on Wicked for a long time.
I read the book, baby.
So yeah, Dead On, by the way, it's a Ben episode, and it's the first to feature flashbacks recounting Ben's backstory.
I'd love to know more about this fool. He says he was raised on the island. Who knows if that shit's true? Is he like a Dharma, like the son of Dharma or something?
Ben is
is that why he cares so much about fertility? Was he like an egg that they grew on the island?
No.
Okay.
Ben is my favorite character. Juliet's up there. So I'm very excited that we're getting ready to get into some more Ben stuff. All right. So is there anything else we need to add here?
No.
No?
No.
Great episode.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your messages in a bottle. Mm-hmm. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as always, we will see you in another life.